session. And first up, we have the health department.
Ready?
Okay. Sure.
All right. Ready as I'm going to be. So we know this is a larger ask than we've ever had before. Not a necessarily cause from us, not any reckless spending on our part, but really because the state legislature kind of abandoned their responsibility. They slashed our allocation by over 80%, or almost 80%, a loss of almost over $500,000. We're not asking the county to sustain all of that. Obviously, we know that's completely unrealistic. Just really asking to sustain about half of that. So state didn't just really cut funding, they really passed their buck, and sorry, it landed with you guys and us. We do live within our means. We don't overspend, we don't pad our budgets, we don't come back month after month asking for more. Kind of show restraint when it's counted. We are reserving funds out of this year's budget to carry over for next year's budget, so that is not something we expect you guys to pick up and fulfill either. I guess that's really all I got to start out with, unless you guys have questions.
No, but I should have said before I let you talk.
Yeah.
That we're $3.1 million over budget.
Nice.
So.
Lucky you guys.
Yeah, just to throw that out there so you guys know what we're dealing with right now also. Questions? Do you want to go through your budget and explain what you guys have put before us?
I can do whatever you like.
We've got your 1159 in front of us to start with.
Okay, so starting with 1159, that's where you'll see the significant increase of about $250,000. This is kind of twofold: one, to provide security for the programming and staff that we do currently have. We did move all of our staff members to that. There's a couple reasons. The first one being, in addition to the cut to Health First Indiana funding from the state, there are additional requirements like checking legal state residency for people we serve. The irony there is diseases and public health don't check IDs. You know, diseases don't start or stop at our county borders. So if we were to provide a non-Indiana resident service and use our Health First Indiana funding, we'd be in violation of the use of those funds. So especially our nursing staff that used to be on Health First Indiana, as well as our health officer, all of our clinical staff has been moved back to 1159 where it was funded prior to the creation of the 1161 funding.
I think a perfect example of that is measles. So if we have a measles case that involves a person that is not a United States citizen, that very much impacts our citizens as far as trying to control that case and monitor and do tracking. And all of that is impossible if we can't use our staff on that person who initially starts that outbreak. So that's just an example of why this is important to make this move.
It's also an Indiana code, which I have to reference, that says funds may only be used for Indiana residents who are lawfully present in the United States. And from the lawyer at the state level who's not allowed to give advice, she said flat out, you cannot pay for a nurse out of those funds, not even partial payment. Because my office, along with other health offices, were trying to pay like half and half, and they said no, because then you're going to have to define like what half she was on when she served what part of the population and stuff like that. And so they pretty much said you should not pay your nursing staff or any medical staff out of DHFI funding because of that, and that's a wrong decision.
There's also, and I'm sorry for jumping back and forth between 1159 and 1161, but they're pretty intertwined. There's also, if you think back a couple years ago when this Health First Indiana program started and was really implemented, there were 16 core services that we had to provide to be eligible for the money. Well, the state cut over 80% of the funding, but they did not cut 80% of the responsibilities. They cut it one responsibility. So we only have 15 core services that are required to be provided to get that 1161 funding. The one that was cut was tobacco cessation. So I don't know, you can interpret that however you want, since they also increased the tobacco tax this session. But our nurses, our clinical staff that provide the tobacco cessation training and programming cannot be paid out of those 1161 funds either.
There was a clarification, I understood that you guys wanted, when they're in the budget, when it says environmentalist, and it's like $150,000 or $100,000, and you're like, well, how many people are you paying out of that? On the back page of my, notes for your explanation of funds for 1159 and 1161, it says clarification of salaries. I'm just letting you know that $103,000, there's 2 staff members being paid out of that line.
The other significant increase on 1159 is due to utilities that we currently don't pay in our space at the hospital. So in anticipation, I guess, of potentially being relocated to a new facility, we did go ahead and include those utilities in our budget request instead of coming back and asking for additionals for that.
Those numbers are based off of, I contacted the hospital and got the monthly cost for the FMOG building, Dr. Amos's office. So those costs there are going to be pretty close. There is going to be, if that is the building that they choose, there's going to be some insulation put in, so it might lower those costs a little bit, but those are the averages, based off of those numbers. And then I didn't get any averages from the other building that is a possibility.
I would assume the trash removal is also part of it with the other building
Yeah, because we currently, that's part of our rent.
included.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed that I have as a, accounting part of it, the part that, like I was wondering, some of these are divided out where normally my funding was all under miscellaneous, 30360. So I just wanted to ask, do they have to be separated now, Christina?
You mean your trash and your property
Yeah.
casualty? Yeah, there's actual line items for those, so that way the state, when they go to audit, that trash is being paid out of a trash account. Utilities, like the electrical and
Oh, I
whatever,
see.
are
Yes,
being paid out
electric.
of those.
Internet, gas, water are all
You-
346?
Yeah.
Okay, I got that. And the insurance that we have on there is for the insurance for Dr. Amos that we're required to carry. And then the other insurances that are on there is for the malpractice insurance, and the workman's comp. So that's why that number went up a little bit. Again, everything that has to do with 1159 is geared towards the actual workers for the health department. That is what 1159 is carrying, staff, humans. Has there been any discussion, or will there be consideration? I know in the past, they wanted to take the health and life insurance, which would be $132,000, and give that to the commissioner's account. That would lessen our bottom line number.
It's still all within the same levy,
Yeah, it
so it
is.
doesn't change anything.
I just wanted to ask if that was something that was still being considered.
Not really. Hadn't been discussed yet. What's the raise request?
I didn't ask for a raise, I was told not to.
That's
Oh.
just a line item to put in each of the different funds as a placeholder.
Okay.
I guess I can see that in my paperwork. We also have the, when I submitted my budget, Brian, if you want to tell them the itemized, when we get to 1161, put in see the itemized things that were buying all of that.
Yeah.
We just don't see
You
a
guys are
lump sum.
ready for 1161? Yep. Okay, so 1161, that's where we cut staff. That's where you'll see the difference between last year's budget request and this year's budget request. $526,000 is what was cut from the state. So the only staff member is the stipend for our grant manager, and then our health board fees. As far as supplies and stuff like that, all of our programming and our services will come out of the 1161 fund. So that's things like our fall prevention program for seniors. This year we've partnered with the Indiana Diaper Bank to provide free diapers and wipes to those in need throughout Putnam County. That's been a huge success so far, so we'll be continuing that program last year. Our Safe Sleep program, which has always been very successful here, kind of timely because the Indiana Department of Health just released that in the first 2 weeks of August, they've already had 10 reported deaths due to unsafe sleeping conditions of infants throughout the state. So we work really hard on that program. We're also doing blood pressure monitors, glucose monitors, and bike helmets for injury and trauma prevention. We do a safe swim program, pool safety program. We also still have our mental health program, our Credible Minds platform that we offer free of charge to any Putnam County resident. And then outside of that, it also includes all of our supplies to really run the office, our software and our hardware for our IT stuff, attorney and legal fees, our sharps containers disposal, and then the pest control that we have on the building that's over at the 911 building that we share with the EMA. And then we also have to have calibration done on our refrigerators and freezers every year to be able to participate in that free vaccine program from the state. All of our fuel, any conferences or continuing education that we have to go to through the State Department of Health or any associations, that's covered out of 1161. Advertising, our fleet insurance for all of our vehicles and our trailers are covered by that, as well as any maintenance for those. And then we also have a line item on there for any maintenance or fixing we have to do on any potential new office space. Questions on 1161?
I had to submit a budget to the state back in May for 1161, and the budget I submitted mirrors this budget I have given you guys, and it was compliant and within Indiana code, so it was approved by the department that I have to submit it to at the state level.
Yep.
Now, I'm just saying it's compliant and it was approved, so.
Thoughts, questions, board? I know it's been standard practice with grants in the past, over the years, that when they're not there, then that isn't there anymore.
And we understand that. 1161 isn't really a grant, though. It's a state allocation. I get where you're coming from, though. But if we don't continue providing the programming that we're providing, our allocation goes from the measly amount that they're giving us to the even measlier amount that they gave us before. So they've kind of fish hooked us into, if you want this money, you have to provide these services. I mean, we could look at opting out of the Health First Indiana program if that's something the council and the commissioners want to do. At this point, we would be the only county in the state not to participate, though. And that's just because, it is more money than what we were getting before.
We did cut programs. We are no longer giving road transit $10,000. We're no longer doing a vector control tire disposal for $10,000. Those were our two biggest. But yes, we are cutting other programs, like the school program, our Thrive program, that was $32,000 for every school building in the district. We cut it. We're not doing that anymore. That comes from Thrive. So we did try to look at the programs that were serving the most people and were most beneficial and kept those programs. Also the programs that were the least amount of money. We also did not hire the 2 people
Yeah, I mean, the writing was on the wall. We knew that those two positions would not be financially sustainable, that the county wouldn't be able to pick up those two positions. So instead of, hiring them for 10 or 12 months this year and then having to cut any services that they were providing, we just did not fill those positions. So we will have money from this year's budget that we're not spending.
Because
We had an environmental health position on 1159.
and the insurance that would have went with that person.
Yep.
Almost $100,000, I know will be going right back into the 1159. And we've also started to, think about, not spending all of the 1161 because of the unknown of the possible new building coming. Because some of those funds, as you guys know, there's an allocation that part of that can go towards, any
Renovation or remodel we need to do.
capital and things
yeah.
like that. So we are trying to prepare for next year that way too.
We also, yes, we're asking the county to pick up part of the responsibility that the state passed on, but we're also looking at alternative sources of funding as well. Joni spent part of last week down in Tennessee at a grant conference, learning how to find, search for, apply, and then hopefully win federal grants, which we typically don't go after federal money because there's so many strings attached to it. But, that's the world we live in now. So to continue and to add to some of the programming that we already have, we're looking for alternative means.
I have no idea where to cut.
Well, and I mean, I wouldn't know where, I wouldn't wanna try to nitpick this particular budgets because of all the different things that you guys do, the services you provide. I guess the thought would be to give you a number and throw it back to you guys for you guys to determine what you need and what you don't need, if we were to have to do cuts. I mean, your levy amounts, back in 21 were 379,000, 22 was 239,000, 23 was 412,000, 24 is 350,000. Probably the 21 number is what we've been, the 379,551 would be the best number to help current and working towards the future.
You have to,
On that, so you want us to try to work with 321,000, is that what you're saying?
a levy of 379,551 or 400,000, something around
Yeah.
there.
From 5 years ago.
She's not saying property, your budget,
No.
it's property tax money that you would get. So then we have to work it backwards as to what that number is as a budget.
So currently, the levy amount to fund this budget is $677,855, leaving a cash operating balance of $200,000, which is the money you need the first part of the year. So how much did you say, Stephanie?
Like the 379,551 was the one that was used in 21. So what? The 380, I like round numbers. Average.
So that's about $298,000.
so I mean, we could absolutely go back and start cutting programs and cutting staff and doing all that stuff. That's fine. Like I said, it would probably put us in jeopardy as far as eligibility of getting the Health First Indiana funding, which again would be money that we lose out. It would be tax money that our residents paid and is not coming back to our county. It would get redispersed to other counties. So we can absolutely take a look at that. The other thing I would keep in mind is that, you know, public health is kind of like wearing your seatbelt. You know, you don't need it until you need it. And when it's not there and you're in an accident, you're going to realize it. Dr. Amos mentioned a measles case, the scenario. Well, it's not just a scenario, it happened. You know, that could have been a severe outbreak in our county, especially in the population it was located in. So those are the kinds of things we have to think about when we're thinking about public health. You don't always see the benefits of it. And I know that's a struggle. It's a struggle for us to make that case to you. It's a struggle for you guys to make that case to constituents and voters. So I get that, but that is something we have to keep in mind when we're looking at budgets like this.
And the majority of all of this is salaries, which we just did those big increases last year or for this year. I don't know. Thoughts? Side counsel over there that guides us so everwise.
This is your call. I give you the numbers. This is
I
your
know.
call.
What I struggle with, is I'm passionate for my staff, they're busting their tushes. We don't, I think, spend our money, outside of what it should, like, we're trying to provide those programs that we've been told to provide. So we need to determine whether you want your local health department to provide those programs, or if you want your local health department just to have the warm bodies in the office.
Well, I understand, but we also have to have the funding to be able to have that too.
And so that's the vicious circle. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we see that, but we also say to you, we're not sure what you would like us to do. Like, we're not sure how to handle that. Cut the programs, or
And I think that's where maybe we need guidance from you, is maybe prioritize those a little bit. Give us some.
And that's what we've tried to do by the program when we've already cut. You know, like I said, we're not asking for you guys to fulfill that entire $500,000. We try to be realists. We know
We
it's
hope you get a grant.
impossible.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
No.
We talked about one today for $100,000.
Right.
I mean, we looked at one for lead for $150 last week. We didn't have the right federal paperwork, and so then, there was one for $100,000 that Brian and I looked at today. I'm looking constantly.
And we appreciate
And
that.
you do a very good job with all your budgets, all your funding. You don't pad your stuff. You don't spend it unwisely. I commend you, Joni. You've always been really great with it. So we're not trying to take anything away from how you guys are, the services you provide, or anything like that. It's just the numbers what the state has done.
Yes.
It all falls
Yeah.
down to the state, and what they have done.
Cut us by $525,000, and we're only asking for
256, I think.
Right.
so it's like we're not even asking for half
Cut
the programs. That's the
$200,000
programs.
of programs.
I mean, the other option, you know, really the only other option that we have for the office aspect of it is, you know, we go back and we go to our health board and we start raising like permit fees and things like that. You know, if you start raising food permits, then businesses aren't going to open in Putnam County, and that's just going to hurt us even more in the long run with tax revenue and stuff like that. So we try to keep our permitting fees relatively close to the surrounding counties or counties of comparable sizes. So though we've talked about that, we don't think it's a realistic solution. It certainly wouldn't fulfill the gap that is there, thank you to the state. But, you know, if it's something you think we should look at, we could absolutely take that into consideration.
Something else that I want you to know that we've thought about, the building, the uncertainty of the building. Like, are we moving, aren't we moving? I want the commissioners and the council to know, yes, we need help purchasing that building and renovating that building, but after that, we have the funds already marked for anything that needs to happen inside that building. The rewiring for the internet, for the security, for the generator that we're going to need to be required to have for our vaccinations. We've had that in the hospital, and now we need to buy one. We're not coming back to ask for any of that money. None of it. This is our budget, this is what we're going to be asking for the county, and that is it.
Commissioners, do you have anything that you wanted to add?
About that part?
No. general.
In general,
Oh, no, I mean, yes, they're over budget. Kelly?
I don't know, he brought you into this.
You haven't done anything, but, I mean, if we gotta cut, we gotta cut, but what programs, what programs cross over into the new, her new program that she just got the grant for?
Our mobile integrated health plan would address some of the things that you guys would lose
So,
by losing some of this funding, but it was more gonna be, it wasn't gonna be us addressing them versus them addressing them, it was gonna be a partnership of addressing them. You know, it was gonna be.
so is there a possibility there could maybe be some money there? We don't know the answer to that yet.
Yeah, no, I get that. You got that. We're just trying to get,
Not saying they're not administering.
oh, no.
So, cause there's, in my grant, there's money to kind of, the state doesn't like the word, like me to use the word stipend, but there's kind of like stipend funds. If we partner with health department, we partner with sheriff's department.
Right.
You know, so there's things there, not much, but there's things.
Okay. Any other thoughts, questions while they're here for us to think about, figure it
Last
out?
thing,
Do you have questions on 4926 at all? That's our, that's a preparedness grant, so I think every other year we either present it or don't present it. There was some questions as to if the funding would be there this year, because this grant runs on a July 1st to a June fiscal year. All of that funding, well, all but 5,000 of that funding was approved by the federal government. So that's federal money that's shot down through the State Department of Health for emergency preparedness activities. We did receive, every state or every county that participates in Indiana did receive a $5,000 cut, but we did get our full CRI funding. So the difference there, all that will just go to programming supplies and resources outside of what's already been approved for my budget until, or for my salary until the end of the year.
Okay, I'm making sure, my brain don't work today.
You're good?
Clarification for your 4926.
Yep.
So you took all of your 1,000 line items and moved them to that 3,000 for your miscellaneous services?
Yep. So that pays for things like our cell phones. Yeah, it would help fund the generator for a potential new building, things like that. That's why we took my salary out of it. However, part of it is still, because the budget period just started in July for this year, that's still paying for my salary until December of this year.
that's about $14,000. So that's why
And-
on your budget, it only shows it like 29 or 27. That's really all the discretionary money that's left in that until July of next year. Again, that money is allowed to buy those things for this building that might happen, for the security, the IT, the generator. Those are the things that are allowable in that grant, and that's why they were moved to miscellaneous.
Told you, my brain's not working. Christina, so for his preparedness coordinator, health department, where did that move to?
11 to 9.
Okay. Which one?
All staff.
Into the admin assistant, if you look, from this year to next year, it increased by the amount of money that was in the grant. So it's not a raise, it's moving part of his salary from the grant to the 11 to 9. That's a 10149 account.
Yeah, no, I figured it out finally. I'm just making the notes. So later on, when I'm looking at it, I know what we're talking about here.
None of our allocations or grants seem to be secure, and so the staff, I moved to 1159 and request that they have a secure salary. Because they're already talking about cutting preparedness again next year. The Washington and the state level.
So originally, the preparedness coordinator funding was paid for through the grant.
Correct. And then we did not know that, at first, we were only told we were going to get $20,000 of the, because there's two grants, base and CRI. We were only told we were gonna get 20,000, which was what his salary came out of. His salary is, 14,000, well, it's 30 when you add all the benefits and everything. So I need, half of his salary comes from one grant period, the other half comes from the other grant period. So when they told us that was gonna be cut, and they didn't tell us if we were gonna get the CRI, there was only maybe $6,000 left of that preparedness money. And then there would not have been enough for his salary next year. And then, the day Christina was putting these books together, the last day that we were allowed to revise our budgets, I called and said, hey, they just told me they're gonna give me another 20,000. That's like just 2 weeks ago. That's how we are not knowing what's happening month to month and what's getting cut.
I think just what I struggle with is, unfortunately with grant, a lot of times it does operate on the understanding that it may end. So I think that's why I'm struggling with the transferring everybody to 1159.
Brian was the only one paid by grant. Everybody
Yep.
else is paid by an allocation, not a grant.
And he's now being transferred to 1159.
Yeah, he is.
Along with everybody else's salaries taken out of there.
Yeah, but that's not from grants.
Well, but part of these weren't there before.
They were all there.
Like the
before
medical
went-
office manager part, 46,350, that hasn't been out of there the last 2 years.
That was, well,
It was in 1161.
It was in 1161.
Yep.
And that's what they were talking about earlier, is that they're now gonna move it from 1161
Right.
to 1159. Yeah, there were several positions moved over.
if
Right.
you look in past history, those positions that started, would start in 1151, and when some of them would. And when I would have grant money, I would move them off.
Yeah, you've moved them over here, there, and yonder.
With the grant money, and then, so they would come off 1159, and 1159 would look great. But what I am fearing is, those are all drying up, those are all diminishing or shrinking, and as Brian said, what we're required to do is not. And so, I struggle, as you have kind of stated you struggle, I don't know what the county would like the health department to be.
Yeah, it's flipping a coin really, because the salary can go back on 49, 26, but then that means if the building comes to fruition, then instead of paying for the generator or part of the generator out of this money, then we're gonna have to come back and ask for an additional for the generator. So it's just moving where things are paid for.
It's hypothetical.
Your 1161, your 30360, your miscellaneous services, what all is with that 186,000 for? Just so I know for my notes, please.
The 30360, that's all that programming that I talked about. So like our diaper bank partnership, our fall prevention, safe sleep, glucose, and blood pressure monitoring, things like that.
Okay, I was looking, I didn't see that, so thank you.
I did not know that you guys did not get these when I turned in our budget, so I had them all itemized.
I think it's on the letter too.
Yeah,
that we
Jay
submitted.
pointed out to me.
Every line item for that. Something that, you're more than welcome to keep those if you want to pass them out. But that's how we written it last time.
It helps me because I'm used to seeing this part of it. I'm old, thanks.
I completely understand, because you're seeing a great big lump of money and thinking, what the heck? But in reality, when you start dividing up utilities and
Oh, yeah.
programs and all the things that are required, the software that we use for wind records, the software and the security we use through DJ, security cameras, all those things that we do have, that we're gonna have to increase because we'll be in a standalone building. We need to try to factor those things in.
Right.
just payroll, and then the itemized things are the insurance and the utilities.
No, you're good, you're good. You explained it, and like Jake, it was on your form, I wasn't looking at this as the 30360 account for the most part, so. Anybody else have any other questions? I know, it's a lot to figure out. Okay. Nothing else? Amanda? Okay. I won't keep these stories, but thank you.
You're more than welcome to keep everything out for.
I can get copies if I need them, but
Oh, okay.
they'll explain it. I just knew it was gonna be an easy, simple question for you guys to tell me, so, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
For all your explanation
Yeah.
and all your work that you do.
If you have other questions, let us know.
We will. Thank you.
Well, commissioners would have an update on the building. You guys need like a break?
It's up to them to go kind of look for their own. Okay.
These dates are a lot, made them not. The state should have allowed them to get rid of some of the services and get them.
I think we're gonna have to raise the rate.
You might look at it.
No, what, state cuts this funding, I mean, we have to increase.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're waiting
it's
on the fourth.
no other way around that.
Because the hospital wants them out. Because the hospital want them out.
How's everybody?
Yeah, they have to find home.
Everybody ready?
Sure, go for it.
So from what I hear from Christina, she started doing this last year, our budget funds with our current EMS lit and our current revenue. So I don't know if she gave you guys the letter that I usually include with every budget. Okay. The main highlights from that is just things out of our control. I really didn't change much with the budget for 2026. I raised things as I saw prices kind of increasing with trade deals, and a lot of our medical supplies come from overseas, so unfortunately we were a victim of tariffs in a couple of different places. As far as 30303 goes, we have found how to fund that for the rest of the year with some Medicaid reimbursement money that we ended up getting. But as you guys know, I'm sure you've heard all day and you'll hear for the rest of the week, prices are just going up. So, but like I said, Christina said our 2026 request funds. The only thing that I did double was our uniform allowance, mainly just because the prices of uniforms has gone up so dramatically. That the current uniform allowance for EMS providers only allows them to get like one pair of pants and one shirt, and that can be destroyed in a shift for them. So that is really all I have. We didn't have any raise requests this year. I inflated insurance premiums around 7%, I'm pretty sure, just because we saw insurance premiums go up and we were going to be a little bit short by the end of 2025. But other than that, I kind of left it alone. It was actually really nice not being a problem child this year.
It's been a rough
struggle. 5 years.
It has been.
But no, I'm really excited for this budget. We tried to really kind of hone in on it last year, and I think it paid off this year.
Hopefully over the long term, repairs, because we were phasing out
Yes.
F-550 trucks. And
Yes.
phasing in F-350.
Phasing out Dodge 45.
The Dodge
40
550s.
yes.
Phasing them out with
Yeah.
350s and Fords.
Yeah.
So that means that repair costs are dramatically lower. when
Yeah.
they break.
30303 should go down as soon as I get that last 2017 Dodge.
Phased out. So
And I only have one Dodge on the streets primary right now.
it was a good idea at the time, but
But your 30303 went from 240,000 to 399,000?
Where, for my request for 2026.
Because we're in the hole this year.
We were gonna be, but like I said, we got that reimbursement money that I think Christine has actually got on the agenda for the council in September, that I'm gonna chuck towards. I did some like inner appropriation transfers out of the 3,000 series to make it work, and I think we are gonna be around the area short that I got in Medicaid reimbursements, and that's where we're putting it in.
But hopefully that should plateau and
I
start
was just
phasing
looking,
down.
cause, well, I was gonna say, yeah, that's what I was doing, cause I was looking at that
Yeah, it
one.
moved away from
Yeah.
1151 and went over to 1230.
Yeah. So
So hopefully that should be a plateau number that we won't reach.
So I
Yes.
can mark in here that you are not going to go over that, per Rick Woodall.
Per Rick Woodall,
Rick doesn't tell the truth.
I know.
not per Kelly Russ, per Rick Woodall.
Not on Tuesdays.
Anywho.
That is our hope.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Do we have questions for her? Anything that you don't understand or what she needs to explain to us? Speak now or forever hold your peace. You don't want the Woodall answer.
No, we do not. No, I think the biggest one
Can you
was,
just take a minute and walk us through the overtime pay and the EMTs a little bit? I mean, you said you didn't ask for a raise request, but I mean, I'm reading your letter here too, but can you just kind of walk through that to
Yeah.
clarify that?
So our appropriations were a little weird this year. For some reason, we had two sections of lieutenants. We had lieutenant paramedics in 10261 and EMS lieutenants in 10247. That kind of got, by the end of the year, that's gonna be combined. Hopefully, we just have one appropriation in that next year. Overtime is always such a weird appropriation for us because they're always gonna have overtime.
Yeah,
You know, because of the 2472s and the on-duties. We had a ton of intermittent FMLA this year. We had one guy out for back surgery for 12 weeks. We've had a lot of people taking intermittent FMLA for like family members. And then we will have 2 more new PCEMS baby additions by the end of the year. So that FMLA killed us this year.
I guess what I was, like, so you've got an increase of 100,000 on the overtime, increase of 159,000 on EMTs, but then a decrease of 259,000 to the lieutenant paramedics. So I mean, it's a wash, but why are we doing this? Like, why does it show up this way?
I don't know. That's the way the appropriations were set up, and I just had to play a shuffle game to get it to work by the end of the year.
Christina?
Okay, well, it's just real confusing trying to
I
understand.
know, it was, so, I'm gonna be honest, when I was doing my projections and getting ready to do the budget, I went into full-blown panic mode because I actually forgot about one of the, I printed a report that Evelyn sent me, and I did not see one of the, it was either 10261 or 10247, and I seriously thought that we were gonna be like $350,000 short by the end of the year, and I was in full-blown panic mode. But then when I found that extra appropriation, and that's where I kind of got confused too. I was like, why were there 2 lieutenant appropriations? And I just never noticed it until I was starting to do projection reports. But I think that's something that we can like simply clean up
There's
by
supposed
the
to
end of
be
the
an
year.
EMT account and a paramedic
Yeah.
account, because the council wanted those split.
Right.
But we got a lieutenant paramedic, so maybe it should just be paramedics.
Well, we had 2 we had lieutenant paramedics and EMS lieutenant. And
Right.
then, yeah. So I think we just meant to split paramedic and EMT, but it ended
Yes.
up accidentally being like EMS lieutenant or something. Yeah. So I think it was just a paperwork thing.
Okay, it's just, I couldn't make sense of it very well, so, thanks.
Any other questions? No? Anything else?
I don't think so. Senate Bill 1 kind of takes the EMS lit tax away. Just as a heads up, I'm kind of the face and the front line of trying to keep that. So I've met with a couple of representatives, and I'm working with the law firm and things like that, so hopefully we can try to keep the EMS lit tax around.
It's not taking it away.
It's moving it to public safety lit so that we all fight for the same pie, correct?
No,
No?
it's EMS
Okay, so
Safety
I
is
was
the
told
one that's gonna
EMT lit was just, or EMS
Well,
lit,
In its form it is, but that's not till 27, pay 28.
which is no time in legislation.
Right, you're
Yeah.
right. But if, in the mix, EMS and fire are one.
Okay. And does that go to, will that be county fire departments as well, or just
If
career?
they choose to give it that way, that'll be totally under the
Okay.
control of the county council. And they don't have to give out to the townships, to their township
Gotcha.
fire.
Did they raise the max on it, or did they change
It's
the max?
0.4%.
0.4%.
So you're at 0.2%.
Okay, gotcha.
So if your funding really
Doesn't
is
change.
still in there,
Okay.
it's just called differently, and it will have to be readopted.
That's actually kind of funny because like everybody at the legislative level also thinks it's going away. So,
Well, it's in there, there's a
Yeah.
0.4% for
Okay.
EMS and fire.
okay, cool. All right,
Thank you.
that's it. Thanks.
Just making sure I saw this right. So this is the increase, and then subtract that, or just that single piece for the operator. So
Because
it's
it's showing there.
okay, so that's the decrease of those basically, because they moved it over to here.
So this is,
It's just a wash, almost,
okay.
moving it from one
That's
to
what
the
I
other.
wasn't sure.
Yeah,
It's like the math's not math.
no, it's not exact.
She had a question too, like for the health department. They're gonna want you behind the podium. You need to talk to the podium this time for the right time, so.
We're live.
That should be part of the building and not separate, and that way, at least his grant, he's gonna be here as coordinator, and that should be coming out here as coordinator grant.
That's what I saw.
Are you talking on building equipment?
Yes.
There's a generator, if we buy that building, there's already a generator.
It has a generator.
I see.
Calling them six.
It's got one.
I didn't think I would appreciate it, just saying.
And the state cut that stuff, and they cut their funding, they should have said, okay, we cut this, then you're not required to do all these things at the same time. Okay, highway department, you're up. Thanks.
1134, we lowered the budget because we only received 16,650 a year, so we couldn't keep it at 50,000 every year.
Okay, hang on, let's find it.
Oh, sorry.
That's at the back.
I just have them in order, sorry.
That's not the order that we were presented though.
Sorry.
Okay, 1134 covered bridge. You took it from 50,000 down to 30,000
Yes, ma'am.
for
What reason? Because we only, the revenue's only 16,000 a year.
Not enough revenue, basically.
It doesn't, we were using the cash on hand last year because we had bridges that had to be fixed.
Right. Okay,
So we did lower it because of that reason.
okay. Now where are you going?
1135,
Can I ask a question about that real quick?
No.
Covered bridge with the money that we received, Jackie, does any of that change with the new Senate Bill 1 stuff in the upcoming years?
Covered bridge wasn't talking about,
Okay, so that doesn't.
because that's not property tax dollars, that's dollars from the state.
Okay, I was just making sure. All right.
1135 Cume Bridge.
Okay.
The truck driver pay, we increased. We currently have one truck driver that his pay comes out of there depending on what jobs he's doing. So we want to do 2 truck drivers out of there, so I put it at 1.5 a truck driver's pay. Because we have 2 truck drivers currently working with 1 equipment operator, doing a lot of bridge work right now. And since we can pay that out, his salary out of there, that's what we wanted to do. We have the equipment operators at the same, that's only 1 equipment operator. We lowered bridge supplies from 50,000 to 25. We didn't use that much last year, so we lowered it. Bridge inspection is lowered from 280 to 105 due to the fact this is year 4 on the bridge plan, and that's all it's gonna take to pay the remainder of the contract
So when do you guys put that out again?
in March.
So will that increase? Okay.
No, it'll start in 27. This is,
It's just a 1 year,
Yeah.
it'll go
What-
back up.
It's just
But
a
it'll-
one-year sale.
yeah, it's just 1 year,
It'll go back up in 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
because that's a 4-year contract, so
Right.
each year, depending on what phase they're doing, is the cost of how much we're gonna need for the bridge inspections. Bridge maintenance, we did increase to 50,000. We plan on working on Bridge 152 that is currently closed out off Airport Road, that was hit by a car. So we've got, an engineering company looking at that, and we're gonna have to pay to have it part of it welded back. So that was the plan with that money this year, is to fix that bridge so it can be reopened. Miscellaneous charges, we didn't have as much in there last year. This is gonna be for some engineering fee for the bridges, so we can get bridge designs, so we can start replacing some of the bridges. And equipment went from 115 to 55,000. That is the cost of our excavator. Last year Jim had put in to do some deck washing and stuff that we, aren't doing this year, so that is just the cost of the excavator. That's all we needed in that fund.
Now, at the Dunbar one, at what point do you guys have to start increasing that one?
Well, right now, we're paying all of that 100%, so the 800,000 is continuously paying that. In 2029 is when it'll let,
Okay.
so not till then.
Now where we headed? Do we have
What-
questions for this one before she moves on?
1169, local roads and street. Sorry, I put them in the order I use them in.
You're fine.
Sandstone and gravel, we increased 50,000, just so we can put more gravel on the, gravel roads. De-icer, we increased from 50,000 to 75,000, due to the fact that last year we ran out of salt, so that was to make sure we had enough money to order extra salt this year. Because of the winter we had, it snowed a little, be
We're
okay.
Anticipating more snow coming this winter, it sounds like.
Yeah.
If we get it or not, but.
And then the
Every year.
professional contracts and services just went from 41,000 to 50,000, and that's to cover Payzer ratings.
That went from 0
0
to
to
50.
Oh, sorry, mine says 40, sorry, I was on the wrong. We put in 50,000 so we could, cover the Payzer rating. Because that has to be outsourced
And that is required for them to be able to receive grants and stuff like that,
Yeah.
so they have to keep that.
to do community crossings and everything, it has to be done.
Lisa Ridge, down in Montgomery County.
Monroe.
No,
Monroe,
Monroe County.
What's her name?
Lisa
Lisa Ridge, she's the highway director down there, and she's gonna be, they're like trading off, something, like she can Payzer rate stuff, she has the ability. So they're helping other counties, I mean, they're trading off in counties between her and Dwight Smith, who is the superintendent down in Bartholomew County.
I didn't realize they
You
were
might
doing that.
holler at them.
And you said Monroe County?
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
in Monroe.
What do
Okay.
you mean by trading off?
Well, like, she's gonna go down and do Dwight's, and he's gonna come up and do her Payzer ratings. And then it's not gonna cost him anything. So, if they can do it, they may be able to do it for less than what
Okay.
an engineering firm can do it, is what I'm saying.
Is it legal for us to hire another county to do? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why not.
Okay, I wouldn't think so, but
Well, that may be something that you could ask Kathy too, to see if it's legit that way
Kathy.
with NDOT Eaton up at Crawfordsville District.
And I know that's what they were talking, Kevin Russell even down in Harrison County. They were talking at, I think it was their June conference, about,
I didn't hear him talk about that, so good,
I think it was a supper one night.
oh,
They
okay.
were talking about paper ratings and how they
think they're gonna interact, and so you might check with them and may be able to help save you money.
Any money we can save, we're happy to. Any questions on that one? Nope. 1173, restricted. On the labor salary, we took it from 60 to 40,000. We're budgeted for 4, but currently only have 1 laborer, so we probably won't hire another, but 3 next year if we can get people. Right now, we lost 1 and we just replaced 1, so we're still only sitting with 1 laborer. The fuel, we've added the fuel from MVH to here, and we did increase it from 400,000 to 450 due to the fact that gas prices and some of the other counties are using more gas than what they had the previous year.
Is this the gas that everybody buys and reimburses you?
Yeah,
Can't be here.
ours can't come out of there?
Can't come out of restricted.
Okay,
It's not put on the roads.
okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's put back over into non-restricted.
Gas is not put on the roads, but it's put in the vehicle that's put on the roads. Is that a loophole?
Not the police departments, not the sheriff's departments. When the sheriff goes out and pumps gas and reimburses the county, that's not restricted.
But that goes to when they reimburse us, it goes to the general fund, it
No,
doesn't
it
come back
doesn't,
to
it
the
goes back
highway.
in here.
It goes to our cash fund.
It goes back to the highway.
It goes in our cash fund, it doesn't go back into that account, is what
It
he's
doesn't go
saying.
back into the line item, but it goes back, it's received back into the highway fund. But that can't come out of restricted.
They only pay that once a year, right?
No, they pay it
No,
periodically.
they pay it monthly.
Regularly. You got guidance from Woodall, didn't you?
I'm pleading the 5th. I'm pleading,
Can't be,
I'm pleading the 5th. I'm pleading the 5th. I still need my job.
but not all your fuel can come out of restricted. Only the fuel for the preservation, construction, and
50,000.
reconstruction of roads.
So
So
do
we
you,
can split it?
yeah,
You can split it.
So if we take what each department pays us back, that can go to the other fund and the rest of it can stay there?
The rest of it can't stay there because the rest of it's
Winter
not used.
couldn't go there.
Winter,
Like winter operations
Winter
couldn't go there,
operations can't go in there,
is what she said.
that's not restricted.
How do you figure those percentages?
I'll have to pull all the hours that they work on 1173.
It's not worth it.
that's a pain.
Yeah.
Not for fuel.
All right, so that I have to go back to MVH, which may put us over budget on MVH then.
You're still all
Just
right.
saying, okay. Road signs, we took down from 28 to 800, or 8,500. Last year, that was increased because of buying new signs, because some of our signs were looking a little rough.
There's still a lot that look rough out and about, just as a heads up.
At least there's not as many with shotgun holes in them anymore.
I haven't seen a lot of those.
It
but
adds
there's-
character.
There's some that are just completely faded, you can't see either.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some spray painted ones that are cute too.
Oh, yes, I do.
Road preservation is 900,000. Last year, all of that was, let me double check, was in road construction. This year, it's gonna go to road preservation to do chip and seal. And we may eventually move some to, road construction to do hot mix, but right now, we're planning on using it for chip and sealing roads. The road resurfacing was at 500,000, but that will be lowered too because of community crossings not doing 1.5, they're only doing 1 million, so that, our portion is gonna be lowered.
So
But that-
we can reduce that 500,000 down.
Yes, to 333, 33, 33.
I don't like those. Christina don't like those numbers.
I can't help it, that's what it comes out to.
Seriously. We're reducing the road resurfacing
To 3,
333, 33, 33.
No,
easier to do 350.
I was gonna say, or 340.
I'm good with that one. So would we do?
There'll also be a lot more competition this year for it.
Yes, there will be.
Because it's only once a year.
Yeah,
so
it's
if
only
we
one
get
call.
that extra money
hey, I did,
in June,
I will tell them, I did file another
July,
email to
you'll
my,
get it in
my new
July,
buddy with
after July.
So we cut the road resurfacing down to 350. And then we took out the fuel all the way around.
Yes, because I think it's gonna be easier if we do that.
dropped 600 off of this one.
Did I say your name?
I would too.
Honey,
I
you
did
put
not.
yourself under the bus.
I said I'm pleading the fifth.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Of
Yeah.
course.
How much does it cost the county to do a mile of chip and seal versus a mile of asphalt?
It's a huge difference. A mile of single seal chip and seal is approximately, I'll say with a little price or anything, I'll say around $15,000. If you take a mile of hot mix asphalt, and we try to lay it about 2 inches deep center of the road and have a crown, you're looking at right at 110,000.
Life,
That doesn't include labor.
No, that's just material.
That's just material.
But that's
life
not-
of each one of those.
That's not an apples to apple thing, because
Right.
chip and seal,
Just a preservation.
yeah, it's only preservation.
Right.
If your road's a little rough, you still have a rough road, it's just sealed. Whereas the asphalt you'll have a smooth road.
Because some roads they have to use, because they have to wedge,
Yep.
fixing the bad spots to level it up
No,
before they
oh.
asphalt it.
Okay.
So some roads will use a little more asphalt than others.
How often do you chip and seal a road?
They say every 7 years you should chip seal a road.
Okay.
We try to adhere to that as best we can.
Right.
You know, some do fall through the cracks on it, so.
Right. Well, it depends on traffic too.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the more heavily traveled roads will start to ravel out a little sooner, so, they'll get the attention, a little sooner than some of the others.
Any more questions?
Oh, that answered my question.
We had a good thing going for a while with the grindings from all the state projects
Yes.
until they started wanting, farmers wanting to start selling it to us because they were getting it before we were from contractors
I didn't offer you
and the
none.
landowners and now the state, they don't really give the grindings anymore, they reuse them.
We do have a small stockpile of
We
grindings,
do have small.
but the problem with the grindings is you get an inconsistent material, and then you get an inconsistent road.
But if you guys let us buy a new grinder, then we can lay them down and grind them up in the road and then chip and seal over the top of it.
Did you hear something?
Hey, I'm just giving the sales pitch.
You're doing a fine job too.
Good.
Yeah, you can do it.
1176, the MVH fund. The social security, we lowered, I based that off the percentage of the wages.
Yeah, you're good.
The perf and Medicare, the same thing. Workers' comp, I did increase from 80 to 112, and that's because we had a huge workers' comp claim, and our workers' comp went up this year. Then the fuel that says 0, we're gonna move back 450 to it. Postage, telephone, we lowered. We didn't use as much last year, so I'm lowering. The property casualty insurance is increased because of our increase from Epic. Miscellaneous services is lowered. Last year Jim had telephone upgrades and he had it at 12,000 and it wasn't 12,000, so it's been lowered to be more appropriate. Trash removal is increased just due to the increase in pricing. We did increase the repairs, parts, and service from 250 to 300,000, because we're not even gonna be able to meet our budget this year with some of the big repairs we've had. Yes.
$50 when you can buy a roll of stamps.
We don't send out usually. I mean, I can increase it to 100.
Well, that's too much. I mean, I'm just saying, $50 won't even buy a roll of stamps. A roll of stamps now is $70.
Right.
Is it really?
So maybe we should increase that to 75.
76.
Handle it.
Let's make it up to 75 if I can.
We'll have to, if they
Double
roll
check.
something else, otherwise, I'm just saying, in the future, that won't even buy you a roll of stamps.
So do you want us to put it back to the 75?
We you can't unless you drop something else down.
Okay.
Okay. And other vehicles, went from 545,000 to 425. We paid off, 6 of our trucks, so that lowered that. Because we don't have a truck payment.
But now, wait a minute, you're getting ready to purchase new vehicles.
I've got the new trucks on, we're only ordering 2 or
Right.
3 new trucks. We paid off 6 new trucks, or 6 dump trucks.
Okay.
So we're not,
But it does put us behind.
it
doing
does,
that way, on truck replacement.
Okay.
but that's why that one's lowered.
I just wanna make sure we were taking that
Yes,
into consideration.
yes.
Of course, you guys are on.
But
Back-
The other thought of that was replacing 6 trucks at a time is a pretty big part of the fleet, having all those same age, trying to
Mhm.
spread out the age of trucks, so.
We're not doing 2 at a
that's-
time or something?
So, well, we got a deal.
Yeah, we can tell.
I forgot on the front page, I know she had on her thing, in our truck drivers, we have 13 truck drivers, 14 equipment operators, 3 mechanics. Huh? 4 equipment operators and 3 mechanics. Oh, I probably did. And I-
13 truck drivers,
4 equipment operators,
4.
4, sorry,
Okay.
3 mechanics, currently 1 laborer, and currently 3 part-time, but we're budgeted for 4 laborers and 4 part-time. I know that was on Christina's list that you guys needed to know.
I thought you guys were looking at, the mechanics and adjusting that.
We did, yeah, we looked at that, we decided just leave things where they were at for now. It's working,
Yeah.
we kind of made some adjustments, so to speak. And, a little more
I'm
effic-
just going off
A little more efficient.
Okay, good. I'm just going off of what I remember at the
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
at once upon a time.
And the last fund, 4951, is the wheel surtax for bridges. And we just put 900,000 in there to start replacing, getting a list of bridges together to repair and replace.
But we don't have that budgeted, so would it be?
Yeah, we have money coming in for that already this year.
Through additionals?
Well, it comes in, and then I have to do an additional to bring it to this account, yes.
We decided to do it 4 times.
Who's we?
We had the meeting here, us and you and the council meeting.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing the money in 12 times a year every month, just do it 4 times a year. Do additional. That's the only way to do it, correct, Christina? To receive it in?
You were waiting because you were just getting it, starting this year.
Yeah.
And the council, you talked about it different ways. You talked about not doing a budget
Right,
because you want to make sure of what it's going towards.
yes. That's where I'm falling back to. Of not having a budget for it and
You guys
doing the
discussed-
additionals as you
Back
guys
to what
need
Rick
it.
was talking about though, wasn't it, what you were thinking of is the bridge plan
Well,
and and how much to appropriate?
but that money comes in every month,
Yes,
so, and if there was no budget for it, so we had to do additionals, does that mean going
yes.
forward if we
There
have
was
a
no
budget?
budget because the council didn't want a budget.
Okay. So, is this creating a budget?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's going against what we had not wanted. I know.
Does it matter one way or which way you go? How does that go with?
Once they appropriate it, then they lose control and you can spend it on whatever you want. Whereas if they have to go to the additional, you have to tell them what bridge it's going towards, and if they agree, then they approve it.
It's just holding more accountability for that new money that we created.
So then, well, so then let's take a scenario if we want to replace a bridge, we're gonna have 3 to 4 different, we're gonna have, it depends on the bridge, of course, but you're gonna
Absolutely.
have what the bridge costs, what the contractor costs, what the engineering costs, and all that stuff, so there'll be 3 or 4 different bills. So do you want us to bring each individual bill each month?
What
Put
if,
it in front of you to appropriate the money?
I have a question, what if, I mean, I can run a ledger showing you where the money goes every time, because like, we've already appropriated some of the money into this now for 3 of the bridges that we're getting ready to replace.
Right.
We're okay doing it however you want.
You just tell me, I didn't know that we weren't supposed to do it like this, sorry.
No, you're not in trouble, this is all new, you're good. What's, we've discussed several different ways, what's the thought of the board?
We've got a stack right waiting for you
We know.
to, because we, yeah.
No,
We got 5 now.
it was just, it was just, in the beginning, the discussion was doing it as it's needed, that way, like she said, it's just accountability. Future
No.
staff
And we're okay with
could
that.
change how that process is, and,
It just made, the only thing, we just have to pay attention to when we get additionals put in.
and it would be
Well,
something that we
That
knew
would,
would be coming.
that's the only thing I worry about is with the new, her having to have the money
The
6
legal.
weeks in advance. I don't get an invoice till now, I send it to her today, I'm looking at October, so these people aren't getting paid till September. That's the only problem I foresee with that.
Was the council wanting it per invoice, or you were wanting it, the way I understood it, or
It's
remember
per
the
bridge.
conversation, it was a project. So you wanted
Yeah.
to say,
But it's not
I
all
wanna
gonna
do
come
this
in at the same
bridge,
time.
and the whole bridge for all these different things, you're estimating it's gonna be 400,000.
Yeah.
They would come with a $400,000 additional, not all these miscellaneous
Yeah.
requests.
What's your thoughts?
Because if we need 400,000 for a bridge, your engineering people, or if we use them, it will get paid first, and then you gotta buy the bridge, which gets paid second, and contractors get paid last.
It's a step process, yeah.
So, go ahead.
I don't think we need to make it that complicated where every time somebody gets paid, it's gotta go through the council.
No, I don't think per project, yeah, I think it's
Pretty easy
a,
to appropriate the money when we know the projects that you want to do. And so, yeah, it makes sense, like, just do it.
Make them do one for every invoice.
No, I don't want that.
Each
No, I'm good. We don't want that.
Yeah.
I mean,
If
see,
you're
what I
doing-
understood
don't
it
wanna
was
see you
a
have
bridge
percentage.
and additional.
Count
to
him
do
out from my group,
the project.
please.
Yeah, if you're doing bridge 225 over here, and it's gonna be a approximate cost of
Yeah.
$500,000 for all these services, I'm good
We
with
would-
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just my thoughts,
That's-
everybody else.
No, that's
I agree.
fine,
Yeah.
in agreement.
Yeah, I agree.
Too, you guys have an idea of what our money is this year. I'd say 380,000.
It's frustrating.
If you could find a way to save us another 3 million, we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
And it's all,
All right, I can do that.
All right.
So we changing this?
So what did, yeah,
Yes.
what happened to
yeah, is
this?
this one going away then?
It'll
That's
go,
what I'm asking, 'cause I wanna
Yeah,
know where I need to
exactly.
change it.
But if you know,
So where does that money go?
It sits there,
fund,
it
wait,
just
fund.
sits there.
If you know a bridge you're gonna start the first of the year.
Yeah.
Or soon after, why would you not
Like,
pick a bridge or two for this 900,000, designate it for that bridge instead of just
But we
bridge maintenance?
won't know until we get the bids, whether we can afford to do 1, 2, 3 bridges or whatever the number is.
yeah, but you've got one that you wanna do design work now, and then you wanna go to that bridge, so you, but you have rough numbers on approximately how much that one's gonna be, so we could put that in there as that to start with. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause a little ballpark figures on
So
that.
instead of saying
Right.
bridge maintenance, put the, appropriate the amount you want for the first bridge you're gonna start.
And then put the
Then
bridge
you're
in.
not, again, it's time, it's costly,
Yeah,
and papers are getting slower and slower.
no kidding.
If you know you're gonna do 2 bridges, budget those 2 bridges.
Okay.
If you don't budget enough for the 2 bridges, then you come back and ask, but
Okay.
hopefully between the 2, that would be.
Any
instead
other
of just saying
questions?
Again, so in the meantime, where does this fall?
So the money that, if we were to take that back down to 0, then that just sits in that fund where all the revenue is going into. It doesn't
Okay.
go anywhere, it doesn't get expensed,
Just sits
it
and
just
waits.
sits there and builds up.
So you wanna take that back to
So
0?
that's what we're gonna do.
Are we taking it to 0, or are we taking it to whatever amount they are projecting for?
Which
Roughly, I got an estimate at 500,000 for the bridge that we're looking at.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, take the
It's gonna
500.
cost more than that.
Well, I agree, but that's the estimate that they gave me.
Good starting point, though?
Well, the first proposal that we got on was over 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On 275 south off of Airport Road.
The one-lane bridge.
Don't even drive your car across, because it ain't safe.
County Home Road.
Just drive fast.
Yeah.
County Home Road.
Yes.
What is it?
It's Bridge 154 is what. So will we do, Jackie, then each year we'll budget like I've got Dunbar budgeted and then just do bridge whatever, instead of maintenance?
If they wanna approve the project and the bridge, then that's what I would suggest.
So
not
I'll just have
put it-
Christina
not
make
just put it in
funds
bridge
for whatever,
maintenance and they don't know
sorry.
where the money's going.
That's what she was just showing me. We have a ton of accounts from previous bridges because it's
We
in
do.
the past, there's been an account number
For every
assigned
single
for
one.
each bridge that was worked on at the time.
Mhm. I remember those.
All right, I can do that way. And we'll make this one Bridge 154 instead of bridge maintenance.
No, we can leave it at bridge maintenance.
Okay, leave it at bridge maintenance?
Do
She
you
said,
want it to be, call it Bridge 154, 500,000, or?
do you want more accounts?
No,
That's,
I'll do whatever you guys want.
As long as they're specifically identifying it to us, I'm good with that.
as long as we know that at the moment, that 500,000 is
Is one of the
allocated for
154.
So when I do
154.
my additionals or whatever, I will put on there what bridge
Allocated
it's
for-
for.
Yeah, please.
What
Will
Jackie
that
is
work?
bringing up, if you leave it as a generic bridge maintenance, then it is bridge maintenance.
Then
And
they
so
can still
technically,
do
they can
whatever.
use it, but if you use it, if you say Bridge 154, they can only use it for Bridge 154.
But what if 154
You're gonna
doesn't,
have to change it each year.
yes, what if
So
150,
next year it could be Bridge 114, 118.
which is what we used to do.
Yes, we have a whole
We have a
bunch
whole bunch of
of
them.
accounts for assigning strictly to a bridge.
But what if they
And
come
that way you
in,
could also designate, you knew, then you could look at it and see how much money had been spent for each of the bridges as well.
I
So
mean,
it is a cleaner ledger.
it's got its pros and cons.
Could we put bridge replacement versus bridge maintenance? Because that's what we would be doing.
I don't want.
You still don't know what bridge it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a matter of if you want to be able to go back and look.
Specify.
Yeah.
Do we want it specified or do we want it as
Says
generic?
bridge replacement. You definitely can't cheat.
That narrows it right down.
Well, we know it's gonna be 154.
This first one.
First year.
Do we know, because it may not be,
Identify it.
because something
It's
may
gonna
come
be
up,
more
That's
than
what I'm thinking.
154.
because
Yeah.
something may come up and something.
If we can't
others
afford,
gonna
if
go
something
first.
else comes up, when they do all the, if we have to change the channel and all that, then
Right.
we may not be able to afford to do 154 and we may have to
Right.
go to a different bridge.
Yeah.
One that we can, like this year, we've got 5 that we can afford with the money we have.
But then you just request a transfer.
Right.
It's not paying for an additional appropriation.
Yeah, man.
So Bridge 154.
What do you guys want?
I think you
I'm seeing,
identify it.
I'm seeing some nods.
Yep, it sounds like it's Bridge 154 now.
Okay.
If it changes, you'll be the first to know.
I appreciate that.
Any other questions?
Oh, I hope not.
But it was for 5, yeah.
Yeah. But this is a lot better than this is great. Thank you guys. You're welcome.
Oh, no,
This is
it's
great.
so
I've
good.
been there with you guys where this does not work, so
Got rid of an engineer.
this is good. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for him? Before they escape for their lives? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
everything,
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you guys wanna take a quick break? Anybody need to- Okay. Christina?
We up? Are you ready?
That's why you're president.
All right, where we starting?
Kind of, you know.
1,000?
Yeah.
All right. Where you want to go?
Well, the first increase that we have is an elected official salary of $36,048.
It is.
Huh?
Would you like to discuss it?
Yeah, if they want to, let's hear it. What do you want to know?
Tom, would you like to add your input? Huh? Because this was what we had talked about this in our special committee meeting about the, increased expectations of the commissioners, the amount of meetings, the amount of outside work and everything. They haven't had a pay raise for a while, and we talked about increasing the pay of the elected officials.
Like I said, I've gone to meetings and we used to have, a couple times, we have 11 meetings a week, 7 meetings the next week.
Oh, me too. Meeting out. Committee out.
I think the committee, the general consensus was what, 40
40.
commissioners, so this amount, that's, the increase that you're showing
It's-
would be higher than that. So that amount would be reduced.
Cause we had him, what, 40?
Yes.
Yeah, 40.
40?
Mhm.
So 2026 would go to 120
Mhm.
from 136?
Yes, for 40,000 for 3 people.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
What did I do?
Next?
It was, so the number was too high. We had estimated, them at 40,000 per commissioner, so instead of 136, the 40 times 3 would only be 120.
If we decide to keep that after we do salaries at the end.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. All right, next.
You want me to explain Christine's to you guys?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Well, anyway, that was my decision to bump it up that much more, is because basically, she is our county manager, whether y'all don't know or figured that out by now. And if we had to hire a county manager, it's gonna cost us about $100,000 to $130,000 a year, like all these other counties. And she's always there and ready to go for us, so. anyway.
So, I don't have a problem with this specifically, but my question is on, I guess, your guys' salaries and changing the secretary's salary. I mean, this still falls within the parameters and structures that we've put in place with our salaries overall. I mean, like, we've worked really hard to do that, and then if we don't stay within that, then it's kind of just
Agreed.
wasting our time.
That was a big headache, wasn't it?
So, anything we do, I just wanna make sure that
Yep.
it's defensible when people question it.
And the
I don't have
stipend
your
isn't part
answer.
of the tier structure, so that would be something that you would have to look at, like with all the different stipends that we have.
The board stipend at the bottom? The board stipend down here at the bottom, is that what you're talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about like, the extra, like.
Like the
you
secretary
have the,
stipend.
Secretary
Oh,
stipend.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And you have the ERC stipend, you have a grant stipend, you have, all the different things that we have across the board. They're kind of certifications, like for the assessor's office. So those are kind of all over depending on what that person's doing. The elected officials, I did, for the salary study, I pulled all the different counties that WIS did, and did an average. So we're keeping in line with that, and that's at, in the very beginning of the binder, what we were recommending. Some of them, the majority, it's at 3%, which is, the COLA. And then I also looked at the average for the structure, and that's, was located on that letter that I sent you from the salary committee. So we're trying to keep in line with that tier, because yes, I'm with you, we don't wanna deviate. That was a lot to go through to get that done.
Yeah, we're just throwing all our progress away if we don't
Yes,
stay in
I agree
mountains.
100%.
For that 40,000, put you guys up there with the, other, way up there, a lot of the other counties.
No disagreement.
Hey, they say we're supposed to make 85% of what the highest paid person, and we are at the top, right? I'm just kidding.
What?
To answer your question, yes. No disagreement. Moving on down the list. Social Security, up 70 grand.
Yeah, that goes along with
That
the
go-
raises we
well, all the pay raises from last year, so, yep, that's a given.
Health, life.
Health insurance, like, that's just, we had bad, we're trending bad,
It happens. It's
our
part of it.
employees and health, so that's just part of it. Perf, Medicare, they all go together.
Yep.
Yep. Postage, telephone, that's just living with, back to what Jackie said, back for the highway. So, we do still send out a lot of postage, right? And, I mean, are there counties that are going more paperless to take down postage, or, I'm asking Jackie, I'm just curious, who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah,
The biggest postage is the treasurer's office and the assessor's office.
Yeah.
Having to send
All
out
the stuff they send
thousands
out.
of forms.
And I'm assuming that's-
related to the property tax.
that's probably
Well, the
mandated.
courts, when they send out the letters for,
Yep.
jury duty and stuff, yeah.
Screaming on down the list, property casualty. I mean, that's just part of the entire United States,
Yes.
so. I do want to see on our property and casualty for, a side note, my business, I got a letter in the mail from my insurance carrier that will no longer cover roof replacement if it's only cosmetic damage.
Really?
That's a new rider that my agent said that it's going through the United States because so many roofs are getting replaced. And so I expect to see one what brought it to mind, we just spent $470-some thousand for a new roof for this place. You know, because of all the hail damage and all that, but anyway, that's a side note. Mental health, that's state statute,
Yes.
so. Any questions on that page?
Yeah, let's eliminate the mileage reimbursement.
Are you 100% sure?
Yep.
Tom? The mileage reimbursement, $4,000?
You can just add that to our
You
salary.
currently have 3 commissioners that do not turn in mileage.
Seriously.
So that's up, I mean, it's however you want to do it, but
Can we go back to mental health?
yes.
Mental health is 322,673.
Is that what it is for the year?
That's the exact amount.
Where's that at? 3 what?
322,673,
Striking.
Thank you.
and that's required of us.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you for that number.
38,000.
We made a guesstimation.
It doesn't come in until what, this month?
No, it was, it's out there, it's under the.
So- So anyway, mileage reimbursement, you can zero it out.
Okay.
Not saying as time goes and different commissioners, it might get put back in there. So, but for currently. Next page. Hazardous waste. Andy, would you like to talk about hazardous waste? Well, just some of the things
Well, we did.
Andy's done a tremendous job, so, just saying.
Anyway, Rick wasn't able to attend. Yeah, Stephanie was there, Tom was there, the attorney was there, and we met with Rod Bray and Bo Baird. What we're finding out on this hazardous waste landfill at Russellville, Knox County has one too. Okay. Knox County collects 90% of the tipping fee, and IDEM only keeps 10%. And so why do we only get 10% and IDEM gets 90% of our money? So they are checking into that.
There's only 2 hazardous waste dumps in the state.
Yep. And they are checking into that. And I received an email yesterday from, well, it was not yesterday, if I can find it. I'm pretty slow at this computer stuff.
So is Knox gonna be mad when theirs get changed?
It's Knox, Indiana, is where the other one is.
Okay.
Let me find her email.
they're gonna be.
So they're gonna be mad when theirs get changed?
that
Yeah,
gets
those cat-
changed.
Theirs get cut
And
from
theirs
time
gets
to
changed, yeah.
They're gonna say them losers down at the
Yeah.
And we'd be happy if they just go 50/50.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I
That'll
told,
balance out across the state, there we go.
Yeah.
daggone it, when was that sent? Terrible.
So have you already started those? Maybe you don't even bring that town into it, you just say, hey.
No, we had to see what's going on.
So the state law,
That way
according to
they-
what we were told, the state law was made for both hazardous waste
Gotcha.
facilities whenever they were, was it back in
50 years ago?
70s,
Yeah.
whenever it was created, whatever.
Anyway, I've been in contact with, this Christina Megger. She actually lives in Rosedale, but she is one of the second in command with, Rokita, Todd. And we've had conversations and stuff like that. And so, anyway, the last email she sent me was, her question to me was, oh my gosh, wish somebody teach me how to read these things. But anyway, her office is checking into that. Plus, when we talked to them about the stone tax,
Right.
to create and the way they talk, that they want to implement it like the food and beverage tax. If a county wants it, you can take it. If not, you don't have to. Well, since this county's got 8 stone quarries in it right now, and we could probably, if we could implement a tax on it, even at 25 cents a ton, it would probably give us about $4 million a year. So they're checking into that.
Yep.
Well, Todd Rokita's already got a name for the bill, and they're gonna call it the Flintstone Act.
Oh, yes, he did say that.
Yeah, and it's in this email, if I could find it where it's supposed to be. So anyway, she sent me, another thing to kind of go back through stuff and on questions, and I told her, here's my answer to her. I go, I have no idea when and how it was written up, talking about the landfill. And I go, the way it is set up now, I feel it is wrong for Putnam County residents. I go, even 50/50 would be better now than 50/50 would be better than what we got now. And then I told her, plus I feel this money should be used for emergency equipment or roads or bridges. And right now, the county is looking for $3.5 million to purchase new radios for our fire departments, sheriff's department, everybody involved. So, anyway.
Thank you.
Then I sent her an email yesterday, and she has not responded about this community crossing money since they've cut it. And I was questioning why, if a county has their own blacktopping equipment and manpower to do it, why should we have to hire an outside source to spend the community crossings money where we could benefit, we could get 2 miles for what they're charging us to do a
So
mile?
our community crossings was $168,000 a milestone charge for this year.
Yeah.
To asphalt and to lay, back to when Clinton said it's 110.
Right.
So they charge 50,000 a mile to lay it.
Yeah.
So, one thing about hazardous waste also is we're looking at, Christina and Stephanie possibly, the possibility of using that if we decide what to do with the health department. That it looks like that fund, the way it's written, we can draw that money out to pay for the health department, whichever way we decide to go. So, gives us an option of, okay, so.
Would that help them, Rick, I don't know what Jim said, I know he said about the percentage to pay for the loan, would that also be able to also do the generators if necessary? Could that also help them with like their yearly utilities, maybe?
Possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility.
I don't know.
I don't know. That could be. I don't, that's a
Just trying to think
very good
outside
point.
the box.
Yeah. Well, since we're on that subject, we only, health department, north versus the south building, what to do. We have 3 of the 4's out. We have 3 of the 4 appraisals back. I talked to the bank yesterday. I'm supposed to meet with them tomorrow or Thursday to get all the interest, all the fees, all the figures that the commissioners will get it all on paper and we can have our joint meeting and make some decisions. Okay, so there's that. Moving on to general fund weights and measures. Pretty much standard across the board, nothing's changed.
I'm glad to see that, things are getting inspected.
Quicker than they were.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you gotta remember, it's a part-time gig, so the person that has it has a full-time job. So,
Yeah, but when the stickers on them were like 2 years old.
I understand, and that was brought to his attention,
Yes, I know, everything's been corrected, it's great.
so. All right, cemetery. Basically just cost of living, cost of fuel. They are definitely doing more.
Yes.
The cemetery laid dormant, cemetery board laid dormant for several years and didn't do a whole lot of anything. Mr. Tippin and his crew, is it Larry?
Yeah.
Larry, is doing a fabulous job now.
And didn't you
Can-
guys buy them a mower?
We bought them,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, why am I even talking? Wayne's the one that
I
needs to
know
be talking, he's
sitting
on the
there.
board,
I know he is.
but, yeah, so,
We pay attention,
Yep.
Wayne.
no, seriously though,
Yeah.
tremendous,
Yeah.
tremendous change from where we were 4 years ago and beyond.
Yeah, they said not having to go to Headley's and get that mower each time. It's made a big difference.
Yep, they're doing it way better. The cemeteries around where I'm at, just looking,
It's,
that hadn't been mowed, in
Kids or
20
people
years.
just call, yeah, got a dozen people come help, but he said, we gotta call Headley's and see if we can get the mower, we can't get the mower.
Yep.
Anybody
Well,
would-
even like that cemetery that's out by my property, the football team came
Yeah.
and spent the day. The South Putt football team spent the day and cleared it, and it looks awesome. So, but, all right, any questions on that one? Tom, would you like to talk about courthouse security? Yeah,
I don't know, we like to get the houses around and stuff like that, and I know the fall one just today, and I didn't say much, but it still, that's a lot of money, just for.
A supervisor. I mean,
We need a supervisor, I agree.
but I mean, you're basically just bringing another person, another Jerry in. Grant you, it's, they're trained in this, that, and the other, and that's great, and that's something that we need. But like Lisa said, and she's right, our evening meetings especially, we need something here. That goes along with the custodial side too, or somebody. The doors, our meetings are supposed to be open to the public, and if we start and they're 5 minutes late, our doors are locked, they can't get in.
But I thought we had a deal last year that planning zone paid for that offer.
Yeah, but even our RDC
Yeah, but
meetings.
now we had an RDC meeting that we set out by the door and waited till 5 minutes after for
Going-
people to show up.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not gonna stick a rock in the door,
No, and that's the building being unattended
Yeah.
at the same time.
so.
So we do have an issue that we need to figure out. But
You know my feeling on security in the courthouse,
I,
it is 100% the sheriff's job, it's not the commissioner's job.
I will not argue that.
I've talked over 2 years.
And they want zero to do with it.
I'm not sure he's really wanting one.
So,
No, the only
No,
reason he was here today for that is because he got hit at a Piercy County meeting.
Well, it sounds more like it's just basically just to oversee the building per se, but we need the security. The whole purpose of me going and getting that machine and getting that donated to us was so that we had the security for the entrance of it, and we don't have this proper trained staff. If there was some, and it's nothing against them, they're doing what they've been put forth and doing as good a job as they can, but they don't have the training if something were to happen to do anything. I don't know, like, there's what, four full-time, 4 part-time, I'm not.
Part-time. They're all part-time, all part-time.
So, I mean, if you had, this the sheriff deputy here, that's a full-time person that would be there, and another full-time person, that would at least help each other, and maybe a part-time, you got breaks, you got time off or whatever, something that there's something going on. I mean, I know half the time when there's nobody there, they're busy, so, I don't know, I'll shut up now.
Can the council mandate the sheriff take it over?
I don't think so.
We were so close, I thought there for a second.
Jackie, can you pull something magical? So,
Yeah, I was always told for years, the sheriff's department was in control of the courthouse. I don't know if that's true anymore.
Well,
the commissioners are in control of the courthouse.
I'm positive it is by constitution.
it is.
That's what I thought too, because of the papers and the judges and the
Each bailiff
courts.
works for the respective judge, is it in, that's in their budget, correct? It's not in the sheriff's
No, the
budget anymore.
commissioners are in charge of the courthouse. It's the responsibility of the commissioners. Courthouse is the responsibility of the commissioners. judges want
It's
something
just
for the
security.
courts.
So we
Yeah, but when I go
take
to,
that 64,000 off.
but when I go to Hamilton County and I walk through those doors and I have to go through their machine and all that, that's the sheriff's deputies that are sitting there.
We're the only county
Yeah.
in the state that the sheriff is not in charge of courthouse security. So, just saying. Just saying.
I guess-
Carroll County doesn't even have any.
Well, but,
For the ones that do have it.
There's-
They had that
there's-
big murder trial.
There's
over there.
definitely counties that don't have any, you're right.
I guess, so.
Well, we didn't have any for a long time.
No, we didn't.
We didn't. Cause me and Judge Headley and Tom got that started.
What else you got for us?
So I guess asking about that, so what he's asking is to bring in a full-time deputy to be in charge of the 4 part-time?
We don't, I've never had
I
a
just
discussion.
don't know, so these 4
Have you had a
part-time,
discussion?
No, I talked to Mitch.
Okay, and that's what he wants to do? He wants that person to be in charge of those?
Yes,
Yeah.
he'd like to get, have them supervise these people down there.
Well, then they work for him, if that's the case.
so,
And then,
I wish we met with you guys first.
I'm ready, I'll wash, I don't,
Well-
Tom, this is Tom. Tom-
they each
poor-
have their
poor
own
Tom-
headache.
Tom is taking one for the team on this one, not me and
I
Andy.
guess I'm just
So-
not
That's just
understanding
Tom.
about
But Jared's
creating,
not wanting to use a merit deputy. He wants to use a civil deputy or whatever.
and I mean, it doesn't necessarily, I don't know that it needs to be a merit deputy, a training
We
deputy.
talked about that yesterday, I said, you don't need a merit deputy, but it'd be nice to have a retiring officer.
That's, you said that.
That's what I
Yeah.
said.
So you're gonna do
There
this?
you go, Tom. Get your gun.
I've done it.
You're
I've
here.
done it again.
I did.
Yeah, you have done it.
No way.
You're here all the time anyway.
I spent all my
I was
time
here in the
So
studying
anyway,
offices.
we don't have the answers.
yeah, I guess for me, I'm just trying to, math it, and it's not mathing for me of why we're bringing in a supervisor, but we're not to supervise people that we're not in charge of, and why we still have the 4 part-time and bring in a full-time.
Causes the problem.
Yeah, so that is not clicking for
And
me.
he said, apparently the judge wants a supervisor up there. Well, I was gonna,
We have the sheriff.
So this
Mike
position,
Fields, when he was up there, I had him in charge,
Mm-hmm.
but then he
He's not, yeah.
got released.
so this position would also be in charge of the 3 bells? No.
they
Basically, he's just
would
gonna
be-
roam around the courthouse and then mainly, I mean, not
And then-
physically supervise, but just
Anyway,
provide some guidance.
What else
He
do you
would
have for us
be the one
commissioners?
with the gun, basically, is what it
Yeah.
amounts to.
Yeah.
We could sit here and talk about this. all
Yes, we
night.
could.
It's not gonna.
What else do you have for us?
Really, they're done?
They don't, the part-time
Need to
doesn't get
cut $2
additional
million.
support.
Jackie, here's a question I have for you.
Okay.
Let's talk Senate Bill 1 for a second. And let's talk all these income tax changes from now till 28. Okay?
Oh.
27 for the 28th.
Yep, and then whatever's gonna happen, my question is, at what point as a county do we start pooling, figuring out what all income tax brings in right now currently, what all income tax is gonna bring in 28 to figure out the differences and where the pots are? Because right now, we have different pots of income tax with the lid and the EMS and all that, which you said.
Andy, don't leave.
So,
Don't put your
right?
budget stuff away.
So at what point do we need to be ahead of this game?
They are.
Understand that, let's just pick a number, if all the income taxes this year bring in, say, $2 million, and then in 28, whatever pot they give us is only gonna bring in 1.6 million. Where should we be having these discussions to figure this out? And then the other thing is, currently some of our income tax money that we get in, we divide out and give to other entities. So can we suck that back in if we're gonna be short?
Find out. So in Senate Bill 1, currently you can have 2.5% income tax. Depending on how you adopt it, if it's certified shares, then it goes to, a little bit goes to property tax relief and certified shares. Goes to every unit, except the schools. If it is public safety lit, then it's divided between the county and the cities and towns. And fire departments, if the county chooses to.
we multiply that by 6, that's what 1.2 will bring in to the county. Pretty simple.
Correct.
For the cities and towns, it's not that simple, because they'll adopt their own. Above and beyond the 1.2, there is a 0.4 EMS and fire. The fire departments have to ask for it, the township volunteer fire departments have to ask. If you give it to one fire department, you have to give it to them all. But the county council has total jurisdiction over the division of how much is EMS and how much is fire department in that mix. Then there is, and you've hit me off the top of my head, there's a percentage out there for towns under 3,500. That if the small towns come and ask, then you can adopt that, I think it's 1.2. You can adopt that amount, up to that amount for the small towns. If one gets it, they all get it. However, the county can take 70% of that money. So there's a lot of income tax dollars that will come in. Our county we've utilized almost all of them. The one that's going away is the property tax relief. That 1.2 that you give the homesteaded properties, before their circuit breaker is calculated, that's going away. But there's a percentage, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the amount, I could look it up, that can be given for property tax relief. All of this comes to a 2.9, somewhere, the most that a county resident, not a city resident, county resident can pay is 2.9%. That's the most, and currently it's 2.5. So income taxes aren't gonna go up that much, they're just not getting divided. The townships won't be getting money, that's not true. The townships can apply in a portion, but it's nowhere near, and it's outside of ours. Then the city, the ones who can't figure out how much it is the cities and towns, because not everybody out there is in that city.
So Andy and Andy's a resident of the county, I'm a resident of the city. And so they're gonna give the city the ability to adopt their own wheel tax. So does that mean I'm gonna pay 2 wheel taxes, one for the county, one for the city?
I've heard both ways.
Me too,
Both
okay,
ways
all
that
right.
it's stacked. I don't know.
Yeah.
One says you'll listen to one group and they'll say that it'll stack. You'll listen to another group and they'll say that it won't. I'm gonna say it won't.
Will income taxes stack? City,
For the
cause I'm,
city resident,
cause
yes.
so I'm gonna pay 2 income taxes, one for the county, one for the city.
Yes.
Yep.
But the
Okay.
most that you can pay is 2.9.
Right, okay, all right.
For the county.
Out in the county, they'll never pay that 2.9
No.
because they can't adopt the 1.2. They won't pay the 1.2 into the city.
But to circle back around, we as a county, we need to be responsible to we need to start these
Start
talks now, so we can
100%.
figure out where we're at,
Yes.
so we don't get caught with anything.
The thing we need to, and really, I was kind of, I mean, I've looked at the figures a little bit, I haven't looked at yours. What we need to get through is that first year of property tax collection, to see just really how much we're losing in those new credits they give out. Because we lose to the ag land, we lose to the homestead properties, we lose to age, we lose to disabilities, and get through there and see just what that, we have estimates, but
Well, but then we lose the personal, the business.
that doesn't matter.
So where does that money, so like my,
If you lose personal property assessment, that
Yeah.
doesn't matter. What that does, it does matter, but that doesn't, we don't lose money over that.
The county
because
doesn't?
No, we're still gonna collect our levy.
okay,
It's just that assessed value's gone, so the assessed values will drop, which will kick the rates up, which probably will.
so that
kick
means
the
your
circuit
income,
breakers
your
up.
county or township tax or whatever, city tax will go up, right? Is that what you're
The
saying?
higher the assessed value, the lower the tax rate.
Right, so when we lose all of that personal property, tax rates are gonna go up.
Okay, all right.
Speaking of this, losing this, that, and the other, our RDC, budget, $1,000, we discussed that.
Yep. Oh, shoot, forgot all about it, didn't we? I've noticed I said we. So the RDC, Redevelopment Commission, we have to have some kind of money to start, to pay fees like, we have to advertise meetings, we have to pay for that, different things. So we talked about $1,000
We just threw a number out there to get something
to
started.
start, to create the fund and start.
If it's a county redevelopment, and it's for, like you said, like legal advertisement stuff, could that just not come out of our legal advertisement account, it's in the commissioner's budget?
I mean, it probably could, but at some point,
Some point, we're gonna have to hire, we're gonna have to hire an attorney and a financial person. And that's where it's gonna get before the money, our biggest question is, when does money start coming into the RDC, now that it's been created?
well.
That we don't have an answer yet, because we haven't hired a financial guy, and we haven't hired an attorney.
Well,
Because we're
but-
trying to be responsible.
Until you have your TIF district actually created and.
Which we do.
You have a tax rate created, so, and then they put the TIF in, our system. Because we have to do the TIF neutralization and submit that to the state, and then when it goes on the property taxes, that's when you'll start collecting them.
We have to have the growth before we'll start getting
Yes.
any of that.
No, understood.
Yeah,
But still, there's gonna be a little growth,
yeah.
just
And
natural,
there's some
natural
coming, so
growth.
we need to continue to move on that. So, but, so is that something that we need to do now, or
That
how many?
$1,000 budget?
Yeah, is that, Jackie? This is all
I'm
new.
sorry.
You're good.
I was reading, I found the breakdown.
We're gonna have a redevelopment commission, Putnam County does, and we're gonna have our own TIF district. What they're talking about is, we're gonna start having extra fees, when do we need to start maybe having like an RDC budget?
Budget.
Do other counties have a budget, or do they have it like within?
RDC is an entity all off on its own. It doesn't budget. Because that's not county money. It's RDC money.
Interesting. Now,
So who pays the bills and stuff? Who
The
decides?
RDC pays the bill. Somebody
Somebody on the board.
so it's its
And
own
if you
entity
run it-
outside of the
If you run
county.
it through the county's
So the
bank
vice
account.
president pays the bills.
Oh, no.
If you run it-
President's in charge of setting that up.
If you run it through the county's accounts, the county's bank account, and leave it there, and don't open your own bank account, you can run right through the LAO system, but it is a separate entity all of its own. It does not.
Are we allowed to put seed money from the county into it to start it? Okay, so then that's a scratch.
Yep, pretty much.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We need to talk to some other counties and figure out what they did to start.
When they started.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know
everyone
that
that
I
I've
had to
talked to,
create
it's been there so long, none of them's in office, so they don't know.
Ours should have been too.
But you can, and in some counties, it's a separate entity, and they have the money is sent to the RDC, and they have a board, and they have a secretary, and they have somebody that handles it. In some counties, Carroll County being one, Tipton County being another, the RDC is funneled through the county's bank accounts. The county auditor gets direction from the board, the RDC board, when to pay an RDC claim, and when settlement comes in, it goes right into that fund,
So
and
if it's not ran by the county, then if it's ran out, is State Board of Accounts still audits it?
state board of accounts still audits
Okay.
either way,
Either way. All right,
because it's tax dollars.
got it. Yep.
Some are run through the economic development corporations. Some have an economic development corporation, and they run the RDCs through there.
Okay. We're learning.
We are definitely about to learn.
I suppose if you run it through the county, you could do an interlocal loan between the RDC and your rainy day, the county's rainy day fund. I mean, I'd have to check this out with the county attorney, which would be your seed money, and then you pay it back.
Then pay it back.
But it'd have to be done more like an interlocal loan,
Okay, all right.
would be my guess.
Will
But I
any
don't know
of
how
you
it's
be
done.
here tomorrow for the veteran custodial departments, since you guys are over those departments also?
I will not.
I have questions about those departments.
They're asking you.
Talking about the hours?
The veteran, there was a request for, some $20,000 for equipment, which I believe is for office supplies, for new furniture in the office. One, if we're still moving forward with the annex, we're gonna figure that office supply, or this desk and whatever out at that time, but even still $20,000, that's a lot of, for a very small office.
I
Cut
agree.
it.
So in my mind, I'm cutting it, but they spent $1950 in 2024, I don't know what they spent this year, so, and then he's upped all his repairs, maintenance, miscellaneous, and his per diem. And so, those will be questions that we can ask for him, but that one was my biggest thing, and how is that working out? Once upon a time, we had a really good veterans office, and there was a lot, you've seen them in and out. I know there's a lot that have passed away over the years, so there's not as much traffic. How do you
I
guys
think
know?
we got a problem in that office.
Alright,
That's the new guy looking at it. Me and Tom talked about it. I ain't talked too much with Rick about it. Me and Tom.
Rick doesn't know much about it. Well, it's because, no, that was Dave's. When Dave was commissioner, Dave took care of it the whole time. It was, we divide up job duties, and that was,
They got a raise. Yeah.
Dave always took care of, so I don't know. I truly don't. Custodian?
yeah, that was the other one. I don't know that there's a whole lot of, there's no increase in there at all, but I'm an old person here.
We've heard.
I know. I've asked several other people throughout the building. The building used to be waxed, buffed or whatever, the floors, on all the floors. I don't know that that's been done in several years. The hedges outside, I know it's not had any traffic, but they're not being things aren't being maintenance either, that I've noticed, just me personally. So, I guess I have
Think we got it
questions on
down.
that.
Rick, can I go back to your question on the
Yes,
income
ma'am,
tax?
absolutely.
I just checked, and, 1.2% for Putnam County, at the rate it is for 26, would be $12,776,118. That's how much income tax would come in on that 1.2. We currently, with our PSAT, certified shares, jail lit, EMS, public safety, economic development, bring in $13,398,366. So we're about $650,000 short.
Yeah, we'll be short. Yep. Okay. All right, that was my fear.
But,
But we can still do 0.4% for EMS and fire.
yeah,
So we can add to that 12 million with the.
We can take that. Okay,
So
okay.
you'd easily be able to make it out.
okay, okay. All right. We should be okay, we just gotta figure out all the pots that currently that money's used for, and make sure that,
The council will allocate that
Yep.
in
Yep.
when they budget, where they'll put the money.
Yep.
So what'll probably happen is that a lot of it'll go into county general, and you won't have an EMS lit and jail lit fund. All of those
You just-
expenditures will go back out of county general.
you just have to have the due diligence to make sure that stays, right?
EMS, general and EMS. And all of those lit monies will go into general, so all of those lit budgets will go into
We'll
general.
have to move over to that.
But the commissioners will lose all their edit money.
Yep, yep, and that's,
PSAP center will
right.
lose it.
that's the discussions, yep.
and I know one of the other things that it's not really per se you guys' decision, but, the food and beverage tax, I know we've talked about it, not talked about it. Thoughts on that? I know we don't make that decision now, but
I do not have
You have to
Tom's.
get special legislation for that. You can't just adopt it.
Correct,
Okay.
right, no,
I don't know the process on that one, so.
no, we do, and I've not talked to Tom about it, but there's 2 of the 3 commissioners that are in favor. So, because that money can be used for roads and bridges. Yes,
Do a lot of counties have the food and beverage tax? No.
Park
Oh.
County's got one.
they do.
Wow.
Park
Park.
County.
Because of the
Well, yeah,
Cover Bridge.
Cover Bridge.
Bridge Festival, yeah.
And they also, they almost maxed out their Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Nashville, the town of Nashville, but Brown County did.
Okay.
Well, they just raised their tax from 12 to 15% for the Nashville. Their local income tax was 12%, or local sales tax was 12. They just
On
raised
food
it
and beverage.
On everything, hotels, everything, 15%.
I know,
Anything in
well,
Nashville, 15%.
I'm on the Convention and Visitors Board, and we have one of the lowest rates in the state. It's never been changed since it was created. And so that's one of the things we're talking, that there's a lot of, that have raised in the last couple of years. Because they're using it for other things other than Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Oh,
Are you getting any feedback from Overville? Anyone on anyone?
No,
Down there, I've heard down there.
Yeah, no. I do know we're going to, Convention and Visitors Bureau side, do a study on, how many more hotels this county can handle. So, because it can handle more, and there's a couple of hotel companies that want to build.
and there's several
So-
things that wanna come into Cloverdale.
Yep, costs $15,000. And you have to have it, I guess, apparently there's some, who knows, page 862 of some code book
Right.
somewhere.
If you think that that's legislation you want, you need to get with your representative now, because he has to turn in any proposed legislation by October something.
Does that come from the commissioners or council or both?
Either or.
Either
Oh,
or,
okay.
probably jointly.
I will tell you that there are certain people that are adamantly against it, but,
I've heard that
Put
too.
it on our agenda for our next commission meeting.
so.
Oh, jeez.
And
Anyway.
You
Okay.
never miss that, you never see that penny. I mean, as a consumer, you never see that penny.
Is there anything else for the commission?
We last for the day?
You are last for the day,
Hot dog.
They see the best.
right?
Something like that.
Is there anything else for Jackie that,
Guess we can go have a non-alcoholic beverage.
No, we have work to do tonight.
I have another meeting.
Who has a meeting?
The
We do.
council, sir.
All right, so a motion to adjourn for the day?
Make a motion.
Second? Second. All right. Adjourned. Please turn mics off and camera, Christina Marie.